Hello, MAT217, Mathematical Analysis for Business Students. I'm making the summer here for the summer 2015 course, section number 10377. If you are not from this course and you're watching a different semester, this still may be relevant to you, but just note any numbers, anything I give out in this video is for that semester only, so you may need to find your enrollment keys and things like that via the syllabus for your course. So let's get going. Summer students, welcome. This video, the goal is to get you oriented in the class and up and running as fast as possible. Now, I guarantee you a lot of this information will be repeated later, but I have found it to be most efficient if I start you with this video, because if I don't start you with it, you skip a whole bunch of stuff and you never actually watch this video. So here we go. In this course is going to take place in two different systems. The first system, where you're going to do all of your learning, you're going to watch all of your lessons, you're going to attend class, is here in Canvas. So here in Canvas, you'll notice if you scroll down, you've already clicked here as starting the course, so very good job. But if you scroll down a little bit further, you will see here is where all of your lessons are for the entire class. You'll see everything broken down by topics. Now, for discussions in the summer session, we don't do the discussions in the summer session. We just move too fast. So any note, any message, anything in the class that talks about discussions, note that they are. I still encourage you to do them, but they are more to be a self-reflection, not to be done as a graded assignment. So I highly recommend read them, do them. I will still go in and respond to you in the discussions, but it's not required that you go in and respond to each other in the discussion topics. Does that make sense? If not, please email me, ask me right away, and I will try to clarify any worries you have about discussions. So here we go. So there's the units you're supposed to be learning, the discussions, which read, go in, think about, do them, but they're not graded, they're not required. Then your assignments. All of your assignments will take place in the other system called WebAssign. So you'll notice this is 3.1, 3.2 in WebAssign. Then when it is due. All of your homework is due every Sunday at midnight. So therefore, this is, it's really due at 5:31 at 11:59 p.m. In WebAssign. So in here, this is kind of the layout. So let's talk about learning. Before you're ready to do your assignments, you must go to class. You must learn how to do the work. So we're going to click in here in Unit 1, Solving Systems of Equations by Graphing, Substitution, Elimination, and Using Matrices. Okay, so we click. And you'll see, this brings us into kind of an overview of what you're supposed to be learning in this section. For some of these sections, I went and made like a little audio place for you to listen, and I'll describe to you what you're supposed to be learning. There's also going to be listed objectives right here. So you can see there are 5 objectives you need to be learning. We need to, Objective 1, solve a system of equations by graphing. Objective 2, Objective 3, so on and so forth. So let's start where we start. And you'll notice what I tried to do is say, okay, solving systems of equations by graphing, it takes place in section 3.1 of your book. So if you want to read the book to go along with it, and we'll get to where that book is and everything in a minute, don't worry. But if you wanted to go ahead and read along, you could by going to section 3.1 in your book. So let's go ahead and finish up this section of this page before we actually go into a lesson. But so I think you can understand here there's 5 objectives, 5 things you need to get done. The assignments are, again, it's going to be a WebAssign assignment. This is the same link as the one that was on the front page, so it doesn't matter which one you click. Just this takes you to WebAssign assignment, which we'll sign you up for in just a minute, don't worry. And then there's a discussion participation, again, optional. Any discussions are optional. Last thing you'll see on this page is what I call virtual office hours. A virtual office hours is, you'll see when I respond to you, when you ask questions, I like to make videos. This is where you'll find a list of every video I've ever made for any other student that it relates to the section that we're covering. So you can see these are questions from section 3.1, 3.2. Here's a video where a student asked about in problem number 11, problem number 12 from that homework section. You can see it looks like problem number 12 was a doozy because lots of students have asked questions. Problem 19, problem 21. So this is where I highly recommend you can go and watch these. It's kind of the reason I call it virtual office hours is you can think of it as you sitting in class and someone asks a question in the beginning of class and you kind of just listen along, or that kind of idea. So and I will gladly make videos that are tailored specifically to you, but I always hope that you watch these first to see if you can kind of figure it out on your own, because that's the best thing about learning is when you do it yourself. It's the best. All right, so let's click in. I clicked into the unit, the first objective. You'll notice in Canvas I call them units, which is to not be confused by, hopefully not to be confused by the book sections. They used to match, but then the publisher changed the order in which the book was taught. So now everything kind of all got goofed up. So I apologize for that. So, all right. So here we go. So we're in our first unit, unit 1.1, section 3.1. And here's your big idea, what we're supposed to be covering. Again, another audio description of what we're supposed to be learning if you want to listen to me talk about it. And here's how everything gets broken down, every single section. I always start you off with a video lesson, solving systems of equations graphically. Now, I either use James Sousa's videos, because he does a great job, but if you disagree, email me. I will gladly make a new video if you're saying you don't get it. So, solving systems of equations graphically, you watch his video, it's 10 minutes. And then you will see we move on to practice problems. So video practice problem 1, video practice problem 2, video practice problem 3. So these are all different problems that I think would be good for you to do. Now, the key thing for students who have never done a online course before, especially an online math course, don't forget you can pause. Sometimes students say, well, he did the problem too fast. Well, I always suggest when you see them doing a problem, here we go. So if we were doing this problem here where he has this example and you want to try it yourself, pause the video, try the problem yourself on paper, then once you're ready, unpause the video and see if you got it right. It's one of the best things about online learning versus in person is in person you can't pause me. Well, you can, but it's a little rude. So, nonetheless, and also another note here for those of you who are kind of new to this. This little symbol right here is full screen. So if you click on it, it will make your video go full screen, and then you can click on it again to go back to the smaller view. Or another trick is you can hit the escape button, and that brings you back on the escape button on your keyboard. So nonetheless, you watch your videos, you kind of flow through, and you'll notice there's always a link at the bottom of every page that will take you to the next objective. So there was those 5 objectives we were supposed to learn in this section. This one will bring me to the second objective. So you can continue through. You'll notice this is still section 3.1 of the book. And we have another video lesson, practice problems, unit 3, still 3.1 in the book. Practice problem, video lesson, practice problems, video 4. And you'll also note, sometimes I do write something that I want you to think about that was discussed in the problems, or just something I want you to make sure you can understand what's going on after you've watched the videos. So don't just skip over the text and just watch the videos. You got to read and watch. Okay, so then you can see unit 4, so on and so forth, and it continues on. And usually, I will tell you, so this is, by the way, this is now on to section 3.2, and you will notice, I will tell you when you've watched enough videos to actually want to go into WebAssign and start a homework assignment, because this homework assignment in WebAssign is for section 3.1 and 3.2. They're both sections in one assignment. So now, if you wanted to, you could go in there. Or if you want to go ahead and finish, you could do the last part of the 5th objective. And you'll see now this tells us that we are ready to do section 3.3 in the book. and you have finished the entire unit, the unit 1, the first unit, which in a normal class, I'll go back to the homepage and show you. In a normal class, not summer school, in a regular semester, fall semester, each of these would be 1 week. So this would be week 1, then this would be week 2, then week 3. But in summer we go a little faster. So this is all week 1, and unit 0 through 2 is week 1, and then units 3, 4 is week 2, because you can see by the due dates. Now the next thing, let's get you into WebAssign. Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand the flow. Oh, I apologize. Before you do WebAssign, one other thing. There are 2 types of tests in this class. In we have what I like to call chapter tests. And you'll notice it will say right next to you, we're going to take the chapter 3 test. This is to be taken at home and unproctored. So there are tests that you do in WebAssign that you're going to do in an unproctored setting, meaning you do it at home, don't cheat. What does it mean to cheat in a WebAssign test? It means that, sorry, just checking my time. To cheat, it means that you should be doing your tests with pencil and paper and calculator, nothing else. Oh, and then also as we go on, there will be a formula sheet which you're allowed to have. You're allowed to use it on proctored tests or unproctored tests. So the formula sheet will pop up later. So you won't need it for the chapter 3 test though. So nonetheless, unproctored tests, doing it on your honor at home in WebAssign. Then you will notice there are other tests called midterms. Midterms, there's a midterm and a final. Those are proctored, which means you will either need to go into the Paradise Valley Community College campus and take the test in our testing center in the Q building. So you'll go in and you'll have up until 6/21 to take that test. Or you could use a service called ProctorU, which you can read about in the syllabus. And the ProctorU service lets you do it from your home, but there is a small fee. I believe it can change on us, but I believe it was $25 last time I checked if you book early. So if you're going to use that service, set up your date now, get the cheapest rate you can get. And what happens is they log into your computer with you, and they can control what's on your screen. They can see what's on your screen, so that way you can't go to other websites and whatnot. And then they also will have to verify via your internet, your camera. They'll verify who you are and have you show a picture ID and et cetera, et cetera. I've been told it sounds kind of creepier than it actually is. The people are very nice and they kind of tell jokes, and it's quite a process. So just it's kind of cool because then you can take your tests from anywhere. So you have those 2 options, and then there actually is the third option where you can use another proctoring site. It has to be arranged privately through me and through that school. For example, if there's a school that you want, if you're in Missouri, I've had a student in Missouri, so they went over to UMass and took a test in their testing center, or that would be Massachusetts, whatever. Anyway, they were in Missouri. So anyway, nonetheless, so proctor test. Then you'll notice there's a final exam. That is the other proctored test. So there are 2 tests you must take in this class that are proctored, which means the test that is on 7/16 and the midterm, the one on 6/21. Those are the 2 that must be done in a testing center or using the ProctorU service. Everything else is done at home, not proctored. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to go anywhere special. Just do them on your computer. Okay, so now, if you have any questions, ask me, but there's information later about where to do that. So now, let's talk about signing up for WebAssign. To sign up for WebAssign, you're going to need a special code. That special code is located in the syllabus. Okay, so, and you will see, if we scroll down just a little bit, there it's right here, the pv.maricopa 13192185. That is the code for our summer course. So if you are on a different course, just grab this number and it will do the exact same thing we're about to show. So what we're going to do is use that number. So write it down, have it written to the side, copy and paste it, whatever you're going to do. Grab it, and let's go over to WebAssign. Now, there's two ways to get there. You could either go back to the main page, back to our home page, and you could click on any of the homework assignments, and you'll see it'll bring up WebAssign, maybe. 3, 2, 1. There it is. It'll bring up WebAssign, or it's a very simple web address. You could just type in webassign.net or webassign.com. They both work, and it'll bring up the site. Now, to enroll in the class, we're going to click here in the Enter Class Key. So we go ahead and click on that. And in here, we have 3 things we need to type in. Remember from our syllabus, there were 3 things that was broken down into. It was pv.maricopa, then 1319, then 2185. So you can see I have those already typed in this window here. So we've gone to WebAssign. You click Enter Class Key. In your 3 boxes, you type in these things. Go ahead, pause the video. Make sure you get them in. Okay, now when you hit Submit, you should see something that looks like this. It's verifying that you are actually in my MAT217, section 10377, which is the correct section for summer 2015. Your instructor, David Dwork at Paradise Valley CC. Okay, so you say, yes, this is my class. Now, if you've used WebAssign before, you could say, I already have a WebAssign account. You click continue. So now, or you click here and you'd say, okay, you just type in your username, your institution, which would be pv.maricopa, and your password. And this would be most important if you took brief calculus with us and you used a paid for book, because we use the same book in this class and in the brief calculus book if you paid for your book, and if you're in WebAssign. And so what that means is if you bought your book for brief calculus, then you don't need to buy it again for this class. So you want to make sure you sign in. If you didn't ever use our book before, and you'll see what that book is in just a minute, then it's not such a big deal. I've had a lot of students say, I used it, I used WebAssign, but it was for college algebra, and I can't remember my login, and then don't worry about it, just create a new one. So for those of you who have to create a new one, you click in here, and what you're going to create is your username. I always recommend your MEID, so that way everything kind of is synonymous, or not synonymous, everything kind of is the same throughout all of your Maricopa stuff. But you can put in any username, any password you want, but notice the institution is already filled out. You have no choices there. It must be pv.maricopa. So anyway, username, password, re-enter your password. The rest of this, notice the student number is not starred. I don't need it. It doesn't matter to me. You don't have to put anything in there if you don't want to. So just first name, last name, email address, create my account. So now once you've done that, I'm going to show you what that would look like. The next screen you should see would look something like this. So then it'll look like something like this. And then also I want to point out when you come back to WebAssign, once you've created it, notice when you come back, we don't want to enter class key every time. It's just the first time. So you're going to come to login, and your 3 things you're going to type in is your username, your password that you created in that previous screen, and notice the institution is pv.maricopa. Yours might be blank. You have to put a pv Maricopa. All right, pv.maricopa. So I'm going to type in my login, and you won't see it. It won't look exactly like that. Let me go to the student view. So then once you've signed up for the course, your window should look something like this. Okay. So once you click through here, you hit create my account, you'll see something that looks like this. Okay, so here you have options. You want to purchase an access code online. If you are using this book for the first time, you would either like to purchase your code online, or you could enter an access code that you got from somewhere else, Or today, being the first day, you can continue my trial for 13 days. So you have 13 days if you would like to try to get an access code from our bookstore, but you don't have it today, or you want to get an access code from somewhere else, that is fine. You have 13 days to get it done. You can participate in the course for 13 days, risk-free, for book-wise, until you figure out what you're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and continue that. And we are now in WebAssign. So here we are in WebAssign. And this is where we're going to live to do homework. This is not where learning takes place. This is not where you watch your lessons. This is just where you come to do homework, quizzes, and tests. So you'll see I have just a couple assignments in right now. But when you log in, you might see a little bit longer list. But the idea here, we're in. Assignments, this is where your homework assignments are going to take place. If we scroll down a little further, you will notice this is where your grade in the class will be. I will not do your grade in Canvas. I will do your grade here because all the tests and all quizzes you take will be in here. So your grade will be listed right here. I'm not doing very well right now. A little bit further down, this is called your personal study plan. Now, in here, the idea is simple. It's just for practice. It's a personal study plan. It is not anything that's graded. It's personal. So you say, all right, I did my chapter 3 stuff. When you click on the personal study plan, you'll notice it's just practice quizzes and practice quizzes for each section and a practice quiz for the entire test or for the entire chapter. There are little tutorials you can watch, etc., etc. Just go in there and play. Practice. Okay. A little bit further down, those will not be there. When you log in, you should not have the solutions to your second midterm at this point. But you'll go down, you'll see in here, there is your syllabus for this course. There is, not for the spring though, yours will say summer. There is the final competencies, which will be gone later. Anyway, so right now you'll see this is just kind of where I will post anything I want you guys to read or download. They'll all be listed right here. And then the book materials is right down below this. Now, I personally don't like these videos. I think the ones I've given to you are much better. But if you want a separate section of videos, you can go right into here and you'll see there is, for chapter 3, here's lecture videos on section 3.1 and 3.2. For chapter 4, there's more videos. Some of them are good, some of them are horrible, but they're there. All right, then on the other side, if I post announcements, I will post them in both places, both in Canvas and here in WebAssign. So they would go right here in the announcements. And the calendar, use it, don't use it, whatever. And then here's your book. So if you wanted to read along, what you could do is click into here and it'll bring up your ebook. So to hopefully answer another question that students ask me a lot is, am I required to purchase the paper copy, or can I just use the ebook? And the answer is you can use just the ebook if you'd like, but the paper copy is fine as well. You'll see that when you click into here, you will get the book that is identical to the paper copy, except it's just not on paper. So what we could do is go over and click into chapter 3, go into section 3.1, because that's the first section we start with in this course. I'll close up my navigation now, make this now, and hopefully on your screen it's a little bit bigger. I just unfortunately had to make my window kind of huge for recording purposes. So you can see, here's your book, you can read along. And kind of one of the neat things is as you're reading, they do embed little videos that you can watch that kind of match the textbook. There will also be practice problems and those types of things. So it's always good if you're reading the book to look out for these little symbols. They can be helpful. Okay, so enough of that for now. If you have questions about using the ebook, please ask and I will help you. There's highlighters and for note taking. There's all kind of crazy stuff. But nonetheless, that's how you get to the book. All right, so there's the basic what's in WebAssign. So now let's just show you what a homework assignment would look like. So when you click into here into your week 0 assignment, we're going to go ahead and see that this assignment's a little bit bigger than normal. Most of my assignments are not this long, so it will take a little bit longer to load. So I apologize. Don't get too frustrated with it. Now, in every assignment, I always recommend Note problems that have values. Every once in a while, there's a problem that we will find that may have an issue and the code needs to get fixed. So if you see a problem that's worth 0 points, that's what it means. It's just that there's a problem with there's an error in the problem, something that needs fixing. So just look out for that. And don't let it stress you out if you can't get it right. You can always email me, but it means I've put in a request to WebAssign to have that problem fixed. And that's the reason why it's worth 0 points. Then always watch your description, read right here. Sometimes I put some special information in here that is relevant to the assignment. As far as grading policies or whatnot, sometimes the grading policies are pretty similar, but every once in a while there's an assignment in here that has a special grading. So just kind of read first. Make sure you read here for your submissions so you understand, again, grading and whatnot. So we can kind of go through, and you'll notice the first set of problems, actually for every problem I want you to notice has a special magic code. These problems are called the getting starteds, and you'll see they're not really math. They're just trying to get you used to WebAssign. So let's scroll down to some actual math stuff. Here we go. So you'll notice here we are in problem number 9. We're actually doing a little bit of math. Now, because this was week 0, this is all supposed to be review material, so you should already know how to expand an expression. But if you don't know how to do it, you are always welcome to ask me for help. But I would, and a lot of times I'll throw a video your way of here's a lesson on how to do this. But note, you can also click read it, practice it, and chat about it. Now the chat about it is but practice it. What that will do is bring up little mini lessons where you can review and practice and get help. Or read it will just bring you to the section in the book where this came from, which is not all that magical because the special magic code that's right here is telling you where it came from in the book. It's our book, which is Wayne, this is the author. Chapter 0, section 0.3, so 0.3, problem number 8 from that section. So you can see this is all going to kind of be the same idea. This is from the same our book, chapter 0, section 0.3, so 0.3, problem number 20. So another thing that students have said to me in the past is, I wish there were more practice problems. Well, that's why this is here. So you can always go through and find, all right, if I had a hard time with this problem, I go to section 0.3 in my book, go to the practice problems at the end of the section, and you'll see this is problem number 20. So do problem number 21, do problem number 22, and you can get more practice. Okay, now the next thing for actually submitting a problem, let's go back to the expanding an expression. That is absolutely fantastic. Usually, I think it's because I've scrolled in so far, usually this stuff pops up on the left-hand side, but hey, we'll go with it. So when I'm going to type in a problem that has special symbols, this calc pad might pop up. Now in here, this is just where you get your square root symbols or factorials or fractions. So you click on those things and it helps you with your setup. Or you can also use keyboard commands as you learn. If I use like a slash that's on it with the question mark key, notice it gives me a fractions. So I could type in things there if I wanted to. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. All right, so nonetheless, we type in answers. Make sure you use the things over here, especially for your Greek symbols. If you need pies or you need special symbols, things over here will be extremely helpful. There's your infinity and whatnot. So type them in using these. And voila. So let's go ahead and show you what it looks like when you typed a problem. I'm going to say this is 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. It's totally not right, but we're going to try it. So notice when I type things in, I get these little boxes right here. Now here's the idea. If I submit an answer, I'm using an attempt. If I save my progress, it means I'm not using an attempt. I'm just going to hold this answer in this box for later. Now, the truth of the matter is for this class, you get unlimited attempts on your homework. So don't stress that. Just, submit your answer. But where that might actually matter to you is on a test or a quiz, because on tests and quizzes, you don't get unlimited submissions. Make sure you read the grading portion of the tests and quizzes so you can understand how they're graded. But nonetheless, that's where you may actually care and not want to submit everything you do it right away. So, but here's the idea. We typed in our answer, we submitted it, we got it wrong, so we got a red X. Now, you say, oh shoot, I need to keep practicing. All right, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to get the problem right this time. So you expand it out and you get the answer. I'm actually going to pause the video and do the math. Okay, so we did the problem. I got this is my answer. So now when I click submit answer, hopefully we will get a green check mark instead of a red X. And there we go, which means we got the problem right. So then the next question that students usually have is, how do I get credit in WebAssign? Well, the second you see that green check mark, it means you got credit for the problem. Your computer could now explode and you would still have credit for this problem. There's nothing you need to do to submit the entire assignment. There's nothing you do to say you're done with the assignment. You just get that green check mark next to each problem and you're done. You can also scroll up to the very top of the assignment and you will see in our list of problems, that the point values, you'll see we now have a green check mark on the one we got right, and we have earned 1 out of 1. Okay, so there you go, and you'll also see there's a percentage for the entire assignment at the edge. All right, so there you go. There's kind of how you do homework assignments at WebAssign. If you have any questions, please ask me. I will warn you, there is one little thing here on your options of help. One of them is called a watch it. Watch its are the devil. The most common thing I hear from students is they say, well, how did you figure out the problem? Or send me your work, and they say, well, I didn't really do any work, I just used the watch it. It is the devil. It sucks learning out of your brain, and it just gets you through problems. If you have to use a watch it, it means you did not understand the problem, and you need to do 10,000 others like this. So please, 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 if you use a watch it, that's where you go to the book and you say, all right, it was out of section 0.6, problem number 20, go do problem number 21, problem number 22. Watch its are bad. Okay, they're only okay. I like the watch its in one scenario where you've done the problem, you've tried it and you can't seem to get it right. You use a watch it to help you find where you made a mistake in your work. But if you are just starting every problem by doing watch its, you are not going to do well. Okay, now let's say you need help on a problem. Do you see at the bottom here below every problem has something that says show my work? So if I go ahead and click on that, you will see in here, now you can type work to me, which is not my favorite, but you are absolutely welcome to type work in here, insert math, that's something new. We could play with that and see what that is. But what I really want you to do is upload a file. This is what I recommend, is you go in here and you upload a file of your work. Now, how would you upload a file of your work? Well, you may have noticed in the past, in one of the other sections where I went to the virtual office hours, from other students' questions, I should say, what I find to be most effective is if you upload a picture of your work that you did on paper. So you see this student here uploaded a picture of their work. So then what I do is I will grab your picture from WebAssign, and I will write all over it and tell you, I'll kind of scribble all over it and say, here's where you made your mistake, here's your idea. So this is how I will give you feedback, individualized feedback, by looking at what you did and correcting it, or giving you hints to what to do next. So let's get back to here. So here's where you upload your picture. But the challenge, if you upload a picture and that's all you do, I will never know you uploaded a picture. I get no notice. So the very first thing you're going to do, take a picture of your work using your computer's camera, your cell phone, whatever you need to do. Upload a picture into the problem that you have a question about. Then you'll notice at the top of every problem is ask your teacher. So you click on ask your teacher, and in here you just tell me I uploaded a picture. Now in here, once you do that and you hit send, now I know you uploaded a picture and I need to go look at it. and you'll see there's now a little envelope next to it saying, you've told me. When I read it, when I read it and respond to you, this envelope will change its icon to let you know I've responded. So you can go back to it and click on that envelope, and you'll see my response will end up right below this. I will see if I can show you what that looks like. So I went ahead and responded to the message I just sent myself, and you'll see the icon has now changed where it shows this little box. So when I click on it, you will now see I wrote originally upload a picture, and then the teacher responded with awesome work, whatever. So there you go. So that's how you ask for help on homework problems. If you do not ask for help using these, I will just direct you to upload a picture of your work. So please cut off the middleman and just show your work by uploading pictures. Okay, so enough of that. So that's how you kind of work in the homework assignments. I hope that was helpful. So now, I think I got you almost where I want you to be. So what we're gonna do, what I did to get here is I just used the back arrows and got back to the main page where we started. But yeah, I think you can get there by clicking home or whatever. There's one more thing I want you to do. Here in WebAssign, it's extremely important you set up your notifications. This is extremely important because this is the only way you will know if I respond to your questions, or if I change a due date or something happens. This is how you find out. So when you clicked on notifications, you're going to get this window. I personally like this, where I check this. Changes are due. Posts, when you want them to send you an email whenever any of these things happening. So once you do your check marks, make sure you click save. Okay. Then the next thing that's extremely important is you go to your notification contact info, meaning which email address do you want them to send this to. Make sure it is an email that you actually check. That's typed in here, because if it's going to some dummy email account, that you'll never get the emails and it won't be helpful. So when you do put an email address, though, please note it will say that a verification email has been sent. I've already done that, so it's not showing it here. So you then have to log into this whatever email address you have in here and find their verification email and click it. Otherwise, it won't send you anything. And make sure you click save. Okay. Now we got our notification set up. There's other things you can play with. You can go into options and change things in here as well. And I actually have had students in the past say, I don't do email, I mainly do text. I guess there is some magic code you can type in to actually have it send you, if you know how your text system works, like Verizon, it's something like where you type in your phone number at VZmail or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, there's ways you can get it to send you texts and kind of be creative, but don't ask me. I don't know how to do it. I'm old fashioned. I guess I like emails. Okay, so I think we got you all set up now. You're in WebAssign. You have your account. You understand how to use Canvas for your lessons to learn. And so you're now probably ready to rock and roll for a bit. So the key thing here to also remember, I'm a teacher. You're not taking this class by yourself. You're not just supposed to only watch videos online and do homework problems and have no one to ask questions for. Please ask questions for help. That's my job. That's what I'm here to do. I will spend quite a few hours this summer making videos for students, helping you out and trying to get you solid. So the key thing is ask for help when you need it. Okay. Let me see. And yeah, definitely read the syllabus. It's very important. Now you may be, we're almost all done. We're almost all done. The one last thing I guess I will say is there is a password for your syllabus quiz that you are to take in WebAssign. That password is summer 2015. So what that will be, let me actually write it out so you can see it. It's all going to be lowercase and it's all going to be one word. It's just going to be summer 2015. Lowercase. Darn you, autocorrect. There we go. Summer 2015. That is your password to get into your first quiz. that's my way of making sure somebody's actually watched this video. Okay, please don't hesitate to ask questions as they come up. Take care.